Hello?
Hello, everybody. Can you hear us? Sí, ahora. Hey. Hi, Fabricio. Hi, Matias. Thank you. Hello, Silvia. Well, we're going to start giving the talk using the full screen to avoid the problems we have the past week with the 3D and the combination between the webcam and the keynote. So we will start sharing you the full screen of the keynote, talking, and then in between we're going to make a brief stop to answer questions, to have a little talk, and then go on with the presentation. Is that okay for everybody? Hi, Urska. Okay. So, let's go for it.
Let's go.
Y aquí, por acá.
Well, we are here. This is the first official session about tactical urbanism. You can follow us at Twitter. You have our Twitter's accounts in
the screen.
And you can use the hashtag UTACT to gather information, and we will share this information because we are keeping it in a tool.
Yes, and remember that if you use the hashtag, you can also share information with us, and it will easier for us to read your questions, your comments, and your thoughts about the idea of tactical urbanism. So?
Is it freezing?
No.
Let's go.
No, Hasem, now we are changing, and as we have seen for previous session, the live stream has a minute or 2 minutes of delay. Francesco, can you see the new image on the screen?
Can you
go back
and forward?
Here? No, we already changed the image.
Okay.
Now
we will telling you that we are changing the image in the chat. So if you don't see the chat, okay, thank you.
Well, this is the Font Palace by Cedric Price. Just one of the images we love to inspire you of all the things that make emerge from tactical urbanism. Collaborative work, the use of new tools, innovation, all of the things we have been talking and sharing in the blog and in the past sessions. Yes, it's a sketch from Cedric Price.
So, let's... And
maybe, I don't know if all the people that is here now was the past week here. So maybe we can repeat a little bit, very briefly, what is the meaning of tactical urbanism. Tactical urbanism is the approach to use small strategies like urban acupuncture to provoke and to promote changes in our cities, to try to approach to a more livable city.
And we have made 4 bundles to... is it okay? 4 bundles to approach to tactical urbanism. One is narrative and storytelling. That's why this image is here, because participants asked us to how can they approximate to the concept, and we are looking to some kind of path made by text that is how can I say, llevando. taking us to some point of our work, and just to replay the other terms, we are going to retell you what are we going to work in this workshop with community and collaborative,
documentation and archive,
and open peer-to-peer design or network design. So let's start.
This is one of our principal motivations. It has changed. It's too far for the microphone. Ow. Well, this is part of the motivation of doing tactical urbanism in our contemporary cities, because we were talking all this time that maybe architects have lost the continuity and the sense of being part of the city. Mostly all of the architects in the past 10 years or past 20 years have been dedicated only to big buildings, losing the connection with the streets, with the public space, and with the city. So this is the start point to understand this new way of doing architecture for us and to work in our public space.
And I think this sentence from Kio Stark reminds us to speak about a pro-amateur way of life, because now architects are going to make some works that usually are for cultural activists or some practitioners,
artists.
So we are planners, we are developers, artists, we are all of them at the same time when we leave the city. So
let's go again to the categories, this time for a better understanding on the online workshop and the strategies we're going to develop in the Google Hangout later on. We have divided all the research in 4 categories, so it will be easier to everybody to understand different kind of actions that we can talk when we use the term tactical urbanism.
Go backwards.
Backwards? Forward? Okay, can you see the new image? Yes, there it is. Okay, the first one, as Paco was telling, is storytelling. Because we have, in the research we have been doing, we have detected that one of the most strong point of tactical urbanism practices is the way they communicate, or the way people engage with the story that these small actions tells. So it's very interesting because that people that uses this part of the cities or these public spaces can feel that these spaces are part of their history and tell something about their history living there.
Here's a little story. When we were young, when we were a child, we used to listen and imagine some stories about us. We were playing with our friends or with some other people. Okay, we think it's a kind of delay. No,
yes,
I think they are hearing us.
There is. It's whoa. Sorry for the interruption. Can anybody tell us what is happening in the screen? Okay, we're going to replay back, forward. No.
Just escape.
Then.
Animated GIF. Okay.
Okay.
Ahora ya se va. So sometimes it's better for gathering people and making a community go to a shared point, telling us a story more than picking up objectives, goals, functions, priorities. Sometimes a story is better than this kind of tools that urbanism or planning is used to use. So let's go.
Yes, we simply think that storytelling is a good way to understand what is happening in the city, because everybody understands a story easier than a technical words or a technical PDF. So we think it's a good approach to start the lecture and to understand talking about tactical urbanism if we have some stories behind that can explain easier this approach. Well, there is the animated GIF again. Okay. Well, this is the motivation that some filmmakers have that has been working in urban documentaries, because they feel that with film they can tell the stories in a more closer way to the people that sees their work. Or for example, David Garcia Studio that uses a publishing approach to make research, to tell stories, and then to use these stories as a main start point to design some of their projects at the studio. Mm-mm.
We have some troubles with the streaming. Is it going well for you?
Francesco Urska, is it going more or less well what we are talking with the images? Can you tell us, please? Yes. Okay. Well,
okay.
Let's go. Thank you.
So
we are seeing different kind of images in our screen.
There's more delay today than the past day, so we are getting in a mess.
Hey, thank you, Agatha and Sarah. Okay, great. This image we are talking about, it's the way that David Garcia Studio approaches to its project. He always starts making a research and document it in a way of storytelling. So it's a better way for them in the proper studio to understand the approach of the projects and then start working and designing. So we think it's a good example of how to get closer to a project like the Storterget that we're going to do.
For example, last week we have talked about La Commune de Paris in 1871. I hope so. Mm-hmm. And we have talked about Rasputin, that they have made a work in which they represent how the story changed the city and how we perceive this city. Imagine you are walking in Paris in some sort of places like beauty places, that kind of like museum city, and you have never known that in some time people gather together and make effort to have a direct government, like an assembly and so on. So if the artifact that Rasputin used to tell that story for that places are big historic images and a QR code that is on the top of that image. So you can see that image in some certain place, and you can access to the information on internet.
What is most wonderful about this project is that it works like a time capsule. So if you are a resident there, but maybe you're too young to know this kind of history or something, you get the possibility to know what happened there before and to perceive and understand that public space in some other ways, not only in how it acts in the current time. Or even if you're a tourist, you can have a deeper approach of the city if you have this historical archive, living archive in the streets. So it's a wonderful project about the storytelling because it has a narrative inside. It drives you like you are discovering Paris in a new way, walking through the pages of a book or something like that.
Is the sound okay? Because is the sound okay? Please, Francesco, tell us.
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to talk and go on, and we are trying to forget that some kind of
delays
and give effects that we are very modern making keynotes, and we like these give effects. So
don't be sarcastic.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, another interesting approach of this project by Rasputin is the way that they use mixed technologies, because they use simple paper, sticky paper, to cover some places in the city, but they also use the QR codes so people with his mobile devices can learn more about history, about what happened in specific places of the city. So the engagement with the public space and the hybridization of this public space with new technologies, it's one of the approach that we like most about this project.
Okay, so have you seen the mobile image? Okay.
Well, we can go on because it's also.
So can you back?
Yes. Going back.
So there are more or less 30 seconds.
Much more, I think.
No, 30 seconds. It's kind of friendly. Okay.
There it is.
There it is, and we are going on. You can see the QR, the iPhone, some cutters, some papers, and Ethel has told you all about this, so we are going to continue with the community. Remember, we are talking about projects, and we have picked up only one to tell one concept, but all that projects have all these kind of bundle we have chosen.
Yes, they represent these terms, but the most wonderful thing is that they can mix up all these 4 tags and bundles, and the way that they interact, or that one project drives you to the other, is the thing we want to learn and to use when we start the network design process.
Just a minute. Okay.
Now we're talking about community and collaborative projects. Because, well, you cannot act in public space, in your streets or in your city without taking care of the community, because cities are for the people. We have always said the same. And if you take in collaboration all these people, you can have a better approach to the cities, because that the people that lives on this space is who better know their problems and their needs. So the fact that use the community and collaborative tags is one of the most closer to the meaning of tactical urbanism. Okay.
We have to make backwards and forward.
Again?
No, again. Sorry.
Okay.
So, this is my favorite.
Yes.
Okay, so Julian Iturbide is a consultant, a network and enterprise consultant that he owns a network consulting cooperative here in Spain. Talks about the change that the open access to information has made to the people. Yeah. So internet has empowered us because we can think and act like a node in a network. Every citizen, every community, every collective can make their efforts and their actions, and this gathers, my buzzword of today is gather, that actions can make sense on political way of thinking the city.
Yes, the way that digital tools allow us to get new info, exchange new information, empower people to take actions that has some kind of incidence also in the political arena. That is very important when we talk about cities and urbanism.
An example, Universal Urban Rights, it's a work of Zuloark here in Spain, and they have invited everybody with a camera and a computer to share what they are thinking about, what this sentence means to each people. So, looking at that image, I can see political, some architect, some kind of people, and they are using a hashtag like us, like you,
Derechos urbanos.
Derechos urbanos, and
yes.
Sorry.
So some of the important things about this project is that how this work of collecting ideas and collecting research from the citizens, no matter if they are architects, I don't know, whatever, politicians, the people who work in the supermarket, the people who works in the pharmacy, how they perceive their neighborhoods and what will they change. So you can make a deeper research and get to know which kind of actions are best to improve the quality of life in that neighborhood.
So Francesco is talking about that Zuloark is located in Madrid. Now we are talking about a new image.
Gifinet. This is yours.
This is mine. Yesterday I was with them here in Barcelona. So Gifinet is a community that works giving access to internet making some tools like routers, like antennas, and picking up these tools to the territory and giving towns that they are very far away from the big cities, giving them internet. So
giving free access to the internet.
Not at all free access.
It's not free access.
They have to pay because here in Spain it's regulate the how can you say
no,
that?
but people has free access.
Yes, but
No,
they
yes.
have to pay a little. So on. The important thing of that community is that they have a very huge group with a web page that where they are working on this stuff, and they share with each others, and it's a close community because they only put out the community, this router, this access to internet, so they are working with them and only with them in a close community. But
the result is open for everybody.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the next one. The next one, as we were talking, it's a interaction between two of the main hashtags or tags that we are using. Because we have put it here in community and collective, but it can also fit on the archive section that we are going to talk later. This is Inteligencia Colectiva, that is also based here. They started here, but they work worldwide. You can see, I don't know if the image is already online. Yes, you can see in the bottom at the right that there is a map with all the places that they have been working on. So what they do is to archive here all the spatial practices and small interventions about tactical urbanism in different places and document all the process. So people can learn from here and then use this knowledge to do new projects in some other places. That's why we were telling that it mixes up the archive, the collective, also a little bit the storytelling in the way that each project is presented. It's a wonderful project that has a very close approach to all the terms that define what tactical urbanism is.
So we have 10 or 15 minutes to get to the final. 20. We are going to use 20 minutes to end the keynote. So the Golden Heart Pavilion. New image.
By the way, let's go. Here is well, you can put the name in the chat and then we can go to the other image, no? I think the Golden Heart Pavilion, it's an artistic and activism project developed in Israel, in a small community in Israel, not in Jerusalem. So they have a lack of places. The community has a lack of places where meet and where they can do artistic presentations and cultural activities. So they call these people from FAST, and they start doing the research in a collaborative process with all the community, taking notes of their needs, discovering the most hidden corners in the neighborhood, to work and to know where is the best place to locate the Heart Pavilion. So the process was really collaborative, really open, but then the design approach was close because was developed by the artists and designers. So we can see here again the mix up between close but in the good sense of the word and the open research and collaborative process. So they built this art pavilion and left open for the community, doing some cultural activities in 2004. But then they donate the pavilion to the community, and the community is now able to upload it and mount it every time they need a cover space, a closed space to do their meetings and their cultural activities. So we think it's a really great project, and maybe from places that we're not used to have a closer look in the way they do this kind of tactical urbanism, because we are always looking more for the US or for Central Europe, but in every community that there is a need, there is also people that is working anonymously sometimes, doing this kind of projects and research. So it's very interesting.
I think this project show us a perfect image for community. The first image is like a little town on the top of the hill. We are talking about that designers and other people have to work with community. They are going there to work for a need, not for a desire or some kind of crazy things that architects like tell and us sometimes do. And it's very simple and very powerful to see that project to reflect that kind of concept that we are trying to share.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
Well, we are on the next tags, that is documentation archive. We have talked a little bit about this before with the Inteligencias Colectivas example, and we want to highlight the importance of archive because as we have talked before with the Golden Heart Pavilion, sometimes there are special practices and interesting activities or projects developed in other countries far away, and we don't have a way to get closer and to know more about them. So if someone of them has the initiative to collect and share all this knowledge, it can be helpful for everybody, of course.
And I have to tell one thing. The documentation and archive begins on your own work, because it's very hard and it's very expert, how can I say, labor to make an archive when we have done our work. We have to start to do this documentation at the beginning point of our projects. It's the better way to share a project.
That's the main point of the recommendation we did, and why we wanted all of you to get involved and research projects, but also share them in your own blog or in the Dreamhammer blog, as some of you started doing this week, because every time we research and we share a project, we have a closer approach to new ideas, new and fresh ideas that can be remixed or can be the start point of a mashup and use them in new practices.
So there's a perfect example for that. This kind of web page like Web 1.0, it's communityplanning.net, and it's a big, a huge, a great, a fantastic glossary archive about methods, opportunities, Okay, it's in English, but why don't we have this on Spanish or Italian or German or Norse? Why don't we have this effort to translate, to share?
Or maybe there are, and we don't know the language to
Yes.
research.
And why can we start this? So this is the
No se vio la
no se vio. Replaying.
I think you haven't seen the image of communityplanning.net. You can put the, well, this is not. You can put the webpage, communityplanning.net.
Okay.
There it is. Well, this is the community planning web we were talking about. And then we go to a Tumblr archive image.
That it's a kind of archive and a kind of documentation, personal documentation, and it's from metal. This is perfect to show that we are talking about no big issues. We are talking about a tool like a blog. It's so easy to make our own archive about
And share
tactical
it.
urbanism, about whatever we are passionate to this. So,
Replaying the image. Well, it's not so important to see the image because it's from a Tumblr archive, but
today is very funny. It's a very funny way to remix and reshare and replay.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, here it is.
It
But
is.
the importance that we want to share is that it's not a difficult task. You can do this kind of archive using your Twitter with a hashtag, using a Tumblr account, but you can archive and share. Most important is to share with the people all the research you are doing, so all the people can exchange its knowledge and learn. And that's the main idea of this kind of open way to work and open workshops that we are working to, that everybody of us can learn new things.
And the new image is about exhibition of projects and how can I explain? So when you are navigating and picking up projects, when you write a post, this is a kind of exhibition. So we are not only documenting and archiving, we are also curating the contents. Once I view
There.
I was talking about this image.
Yes.
Thanks. So go on. Okay.
Well, switching again. Francesco, you have the same problem yesterday with Andres, isn't it? I don't know what's happened. Oh, new image.
Okay. Next one.
Catalog. Yes. Now.
Thank you. Perfect.
Okay. Well, it's not maybe live stream is doing some kind of, I don't know. Well, an example of this archiving process is this project called A Catalog of Street Art Techniques, developed by the G Canyon in a Crack, our friends from Italy but living in Barcelona now.
So this is...
You can explain it?
Well, I was related to this. Francesco and Anna made some kind of workshop last May, and we have related with that project. So, what is that about? You can go walk into the city and look at graffitis and so on.
Street art.
Street art. So Anna and Francesco decided to share their their passion about this street art in a kind of way that they were archiving this street art and categorizing the kind of techniques they have made. Why? Because, okay, street art is ephemeris, and it's more important to have Milano. And what they have made, so very easily, they have made a Flickr account, a blog where they were talking about the project, a blog where they're gathering and documenting image about the street art, and they have made
an app?
No, not an app. An agreement with an existing app of developer from New York to take these photos and to share them from the mobile. The principal aspect of this was they were sharing the, how can I say that?
The process.
The process about their work. They don't have made the website and say hello world, we have an archive. So they are telling us what were we doing in that moment, and we can share.
And it's also a collaborative project because anybody who has a mobile device and who can download the app can go discovering the cities and uploading images of street art that they found around there. They can be geolocated and shared by the Flickr set and by the blog. So it's a very interesting project about collaborative but also urban hybridization, because you exchange information in an analogic way in the walls of the city, but then also you can exchange and archive and remix via digital devices.
And layering what Etel has told now, I think a very important view is they have met all the people from Milan. They have met graffiters, they have met
street artists,
they have met a local curator, some kind of local curator about street art. So it's a very how can I say, complete project about archiving some stuff.
So
it's Matthias.
Too low for me. Oh. Okay, and the last tag that we are working on, it's the open peer-to-peer design or network design. That is the process we're going to follow in the workshop. The approach to design something to the Stortorget Square will be related with all of this. We need to learn, to have ideas, to have a more closer approach to the square. We hope all of you have time to download the PDF, the booklet, and has some ideas about the local aspects of the square. But then we are going to work in the Google Hangout all together, and that's the meaning of network designing. We're going to use digital tools, we're going to exchange our ideas, and then everybody can work in their own space during the week, but then we're going to exchange our projects and our ideas again, and mixing them up, sharing and talking about these ideas. We're going to have an approximation of the final design we want to share at the end of the workshop.
So what we are talking about, and I'm waiting for
the image.
We know about Wikipedia, and there's, I can't wait. Okay,
there it is. WikiHouse.
So, why sorry. WikiHouse is like a Wikipedia about house. It's Creative Commons. It's to share some knowledge and to start designing instead of text, designing a house. And we have other examples like Reinvent New York City .government that they have made a hackathon. Hackathon is a big encounter to make people do some kind of things like, okay, let's do in a collaborative map of this part of the town. But you can do apps, you can do some kind of work, you can do whatever. It's the very important thing is the kind of encounter and how people is coordinated by some kind of rules behind that are
the main guides.
The main guides for open peer-to-peer design.
Maybe a closer example that is not here on the keynote, but related with government, is what happened in Iceland, no? With the constitution.
Okay.
It's a good example that maybe we can talk about it later if anybody has some questions, but the way the people, the citizens interact with the government, it's a really good example of a collaborative approach and network design, this time for a governmental documentation, but we can apply the same rules for designing a public space.
And do yourself city briefly is interesting because it's a very distributed process in some different cities and some different communities. They are now in a one website, but they have their own process on their own communities, and they are sharing the results and the kind of process of and encounters, whatever. So it has a lot. It's me.
I hope the next time live stream is going faster. They stopped working on the platform this week.
Now go on.
Well, go on.
So the last case study is do-it-yourself balloon mapping kit. I think we have talked about this in the last week or not?
I'm not sure. Not. I don't think so.
So here it is. Some kind of toolkit.
You can put the name again there. So, image. Okay.
So it's like
it's a toolkit for easily mapping some places that are difficult access simply by foot, as we can say. For example, one of the main projects they do with this toolbox, it's mapping the oil split in the Mexican Gulf. 2 years ago? No, 3.
1 year.
1 year ago, yes. Because even when we have no news at the BBC, not even Fox News, people start worrying about what happened with the oil split in the Gulf. So this group of activists start sharing this kit with the citizens all around the coast, and it's an easy way to mapping with using kits. So you can hang the camera, the video camera, or the photo camera, and start making an archive of what was happening in the sea and in the coast with the oil split.
So they have won a race.
Yes.
They have won a race. Not only for media, the United States government lost that race. The BP lost that
BP
race.
company, yes.
Google Maps lost that race because they were a lot of people trying to work together, sharing their maps, sharing how they have made that kind of easy tools to map, and there is an immense line of coast on the Gulf of how can I say? The Gulf for the Mexico Gulf, sorry.
Mexican Gulf.
And they have made it. So
yes, this is a perfect example of the power of people. People working together in lots, hundreds of kilometers, working with the same approach. And as Paco said, they won because even Google Maps uses their images to update what was happening there. So it's the example of how we can collaborate with some other people even if you don't know them and doing a whole work all together. I think the case of studies are that. Now we can make I don't know if a brief.
I think we have to put this camera. Hello.
Hello. Hello, are you there?
Yes.
Yes.
Some kind of GIF.
Animated GIF. No. Well, these are the main case studies that represent each one of the tags, but as we told you, they are all mixed up because they can represent more than one of the tags. Some of them can represent the whole pack of the 4 tags or the four group of bundles. So it's a better way to explain you the approach of the study cases we're going to use as a base for develop the online workshop.
Is there any question or answer at the chat? And another thing, we are going to take a very brief rest, and we have to explain to you that we are changing our plan because we have felt that we were running a lot, and we are going to give another week for the point 1 of task, but we are making a trick because we are going to ask you that you have to make point 1 and point 2 for the next week. Is it okay for you, that explanation?
I think what Francesco is sharing is really important. The OSA, the Office of Subversive Architecture, is hacking the the London Olympics, and I really like this kind of projects because they are not only another way of perceive the cities, but also the activists and politic implications of doing this kind of things in such huge events that nobody knows are needed anymore. I'm talking about Olympics and expos and this kind of big urbanism. Thank you, Francesco.
Okay. Yes.
We are proposing that, Francesco, just to people that wasn't here the past week has time to update the point 1, and maybe people who has had doubts about what the meaning of storytelling was, maybe with this example they have clear the idea about the tags, and it's going to be easier to make the research and to archive point 1 and point 2 to the next week, so we can go on time with the 4 weeks of work we have. It's clear now, or not? Not yet. By the way, we are keeping the schedule because for the next week we're going to research also the second tags, but also giving time for people who haven't researched the first one to do it again. So yeah. It's not a delay, it's just an update.
Where are the points explained? Here in the video, in this session, but we are looking at the last post we have published, presentation.
Hey, now people has uploaded some.
You can.
Yes.
We're going to. Well.
Wow.
What?
The web wasn't working, and we didn't have time to see all the material you have researched.
Cool.
That's great. Thank you.
It's there.
Go to the live stream because the chat is there.
I'm going.
I cannot access the. I don't know why. Okay.
Okay.
Summarize en castellano.
Summarize.
Ok, Fabricio, estamos hablando de que vamos a dar una semana más. En la semana siguiente vamos a investigar y hacer research de los segundos tags, que son los de archive, no, collaborative. Hasta abajo. Sí, que son los de Collaborative and Community. Pero para aquellas personas que no hayan tenido tiempo o no entendían claramente el significado de storytelling, vamos a dar tiempo que también puedan contribuir con sus aportes y su investigación acerca del primer punto de nuevo. ¿Está bien ahora? ¿Queda claro o tenemos más dudas? ¿Fabricio? Okay.
So we are going to...
Francesco, we're going to disconnect now and going to Google Plus. Or anybody has more questions or more comments?
I think Google Hangout will be a place. If anybody of the viewers of the Dreamama live stream wants to make a question, you have to write it down to... Sorry, I'm going to put it on the... here.
No, tienes que poner pin screen. Remember... oh, ponlos ahí.
Okay.
If you don't have time to send your comments or questions, you can use Twitter. Okay, well, I'm going off the live stream now for a while. See you in Google Plus.